Okay, next on our agenda is the consent calendar. And at this time, I'll ask if there's any board members that has anything they want to pull off of the consent calendar.
Board Member Cannon and
Board Member Cannon.
Earl.
Board Member Cannon?
Yes, I would just like to ask a couple of questions about item number 3.
Okay, that's so we'll pull item 3.
Temporary, yeah.
Yes. Temporary authorization, request for temporary authorization.
Right.
Okay. Other questions from board? Any other items to be pulled?
Board Member Earl.
I would like 6. I'd like 6 pulled, which is the civics test waivers. I just have a couple of questions there as well.
Okay. 6 is pulled. Any other items? Anyone else in the queue? Vice Chair?
No other hands.
No more hands. Okay. We'll take a motion on the consent calendar.
Board Member Belknap has a hand.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I would second that.
And a second by Board Member Marsh. Any discussion to the motion?
No hands.
Seeing none, let's vote. The motion before the board is to approve the general consent calendar with items 3 and 6 removed. This will be a roll call vote. We'll start with Member Belknap,
Yes.
Member Bolter,
Yes.
Member Cannon, Member Cannon,
Yes,
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Member Davis,
Yes.
Member Earl,
Yes.
Member Gravitt,
Yes.
Member Hanson,
Yes.
Member Haynes,
Yes.
Member Lear,
Yes.
Member Marsh,
Yes.
Member Nielsen, Member Nielsen, Member Newell,
Yes.
Member Thorpe,
Yes.
Member Huntsman's a yes. Board Member Cannon? It's on the,
yes.
okay.
Do you hear me? Okay.
Yep, got it. Thank you. The voting was unanimous. So now we're going to go to, on our consent calendar, item number 3. Board Member Cannon, you had some questions.
Yes. So this item is for approval of temporary authorizations. And when I looked into the items, it looks like we're still using the old system of categories, eminence, et cetera, et cetera. But I know that the new system of licensing was to begin as of January this year. So my question is, why are we still using the old system for the categories? When will that phase out? And what kind of reports should we expect to see in the future under the new system?
So I can't see what staff is available to answer that question. Vice Chair Cummins, can you?
I can.
Yes, there's Malia.
Malia Hall.
Yeah. Okay. Please continue.
Oh,
Will you state
hello,
your
this is
full name and title?
This is Malia Height. I'm the Educator Licensing Coordinator in Teaching and Learning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the new system goes into effect July 1st as far as the categories The system that Board Member Cannon is referring to, the January date, is for students who are enrolled in programs starting January 2020. So the new licenses don't go into effect until July 1st, but the requirements for those who are enrolled in programs went into effect in June or in January of this year. That Board Member Cannon is referring to, the January date, is for students who are enrolled in a program starting.
We're losing something. Board Member Cannon, did you hear the response?
Yes, I heard the response. It answered part of the question. I think she was trying to answer the rest, and then it went away.
Okay.
What kind of,
So-
my question was, what kind of reports would we expect to see under the new system of licensing? What kinds of things will they be showing us?
We're losing something. Board Member Cannon, did you hear the response?
Yes, I heard the response. It answered part of the question. I think she was trying to answer the rest.
On the future reports, what they will look like.
So the future reporting will show how many professional level licenses, how many associate level licenses, and then how many LEA specific licenses and endorsements have been granted by local school boards. So those are really the three categories that we will see starting July.
May I ask a follow-up?
Follow-up, Board Member Cannon?
Will there, at that point, be any way to track those who are working as unqualified people, or will that designation go away?
So working as unqualified that language is maybe going to not be exactly the same. What we're going to see is professionally level licensed and endorsed means that they are fully qualified. Associate level endorsements and licenses mean they are currently working on becoming a professionally level licensed educator. The LEA specific could mean that they are working towards being enrolled in a program, or that they're not fully licensed or fully qualified to teach in that area, but that the LEA has determined they are the most qualified candidate for the position.
All right. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So in regards to item number 3, request for temporary authorizations, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent calendar temporary authorizations item 3.
Second,
The second was,
Belknap.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Board Member Lear has a hand.
Board Member Lear?
Yeah, trying to unmute, just a sec. Okay, there I am. Yes, I had a question before. And maybe this is for Malia also. I see that the largest category is underqualified, not enrolled in program. I'm not sure if that's what she was trying to explain in her last statement, but I was wondering what the consequences are. We just know that that's the largest category and we don't do anything about it. What happens because of that?
This is Malia Height. At this point, there's nothing that is punitive or anything other than it's just information for the board at this time.
That's pretty follow-up. That's pretty concerning to me. I think we need to consider that, because that's a failure of compliance with the law, and I think it's as important as any other law.
So Okay, so we can make note of it, make requests, say to bring back rules or do something.
Jennifer Thronson has a hand.
Who had their hand?
Jennifer Thronson.
Hey, Jennifer, can you weigh in?
Sure. See if you, Jennifer Thronson, Director of Teaching and Learning. I'm hoping my voice is on. So for this particular one, the LEAs are required to report on their LEA-specific licenses on their web pages to report the number of educators that they have in this space, as well as if they seek renewal. So teachers can do this for 1, 2, or 3 years. If they seek renewal, our board actually has to approve those renewals beyond 3 years. So ultimately, an LEA-specific license could be limited by the board to only 3 years. In that time, our educators would want to become qualified in the area that they are holding an LEA-specific license, or the board will have the right to extend that license as long as they see fit, or ask them to come back for renewals at a certain interval. So ultimately, you as board members will have the opportunity to weigh in on those LEA-specific licenses over time and determine the longevity of those licenses. So just wanted to clarify what's in rule currently, that you do, as a board, have a lot of control over the continuation of those LEA-specific licenses.
Vice Chair Cummins, is there anyone else in the queue?
No.
Okay, the motion before the board is that the board approve item number 3 of the general consent calendar, request for temporary authorizations. This is a roll call vote. I'm going to start now. Board Member Belknap?
Yes.
Board Member Bolter?
Yes.
Board Member Cannon?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cummins?
Yes.
Member Davis?
Yes.
Member Earl?
Yes.
Member Gravitt?
Yes.
Member Hanson?
Yes.
Member Haynes?
Yes.
Member Lear?
Yes.
Member Marsh?
Yes.
Member Scott Nelson? Member Nelson? Member Newell?
Yes.
Member Thorpe?
Yes.
And Member Huntsman's a yes. Voting was unanimous. Okay, thank you. Next, we will go to Board Member Earl on item number 6, which is an action item, basic civic test waivers. Board Member Earl, you had some questions?
Yeah, all right, am I on?
Yes, you are.
Okay, and maybe just some comments as well. Just looking down through the list, there definitely is some very valid issues that came up with being able to access. And I guess because I've got kids also that are trying to maneuver this new realm of different online courses and trying to stay on top of everything, I can see the need for a waiver if they're not able to get to things. My concern is that I don't want this. I would be concerned that this may be a crutch for the future too, meaning that many of these questions are not necessarily reliant upon the last class they take before graduation. They're simple things like how many years is the president elected for, or a senator. So I guess my point is that some of these things are so basic that I would hope districts in moving forward, wouldn't wait till that last time frame. But I do understand that sometimes that just is the case for whatever reason, whether scheduling or students moving in or whatever. So kudos to the districts where they could have had an excuse and actively worked to make sure that they had as many students as they could to accomplish this. That's just my comments. I don't know if Darren has any thoughts in association with this, but.
Any other hands up, Vice Chair? Comments?
Board Member Hanson and then Darren Nielsen.
Board Member Hanson?
Thank you, Chairman.
maybe just a question for Darren. I understood this waiver was to be on an individual student basis. And I again, when reviewing this, see a lot of valid reasons why kids weren't able to complete. But I also see some with big numbers of students and what looks like maybe blanket reasons for why groups of students weren't able to complete that. Darren, can you help me understand what we received from the LEAs as far as these waiver requests?
Darren, are you available to answer the question?
Yes, Chair Huntsman, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to this. The comments that have been shared already by board members are certainly something that other people share. There was some conversation early on that the waiver might not be necessary because of the variety of ways that students can access the basic civics test requirement. And as board member Earl pointed out, the opportunity for them to complete that requirement early in their secondary education experience. However, I think one of the piece of evidence we have through this submission of these 30 LEAs, and I would just make a note that there's also an opportunity for LEAs to submit who weren't able to meet this deadline for this board meeting to submit, and there's a possibility, maybe a likelihood would be the right word, that we'll see additional waiver requests on this basic civics requirement in the June board meeting. But you're correct, Board Member Hanson. The Senate Bill 3005 allows for LEAs to submit an application on behalf of individual students. We chose not to have the students' names be listed in the information that the LEAs submitted to us. We tried to simplify and expedite the process for them to be able to tell the board how many students without giving individuals a personally identifiable information. So you're correct, Board Member Hanson. We didn't ask for student names in their application for a couple of reasons. One is the student, at least the information we would share with the board in a public meeting would not include the student names. And the second one was really to expedite the process. We were made aware of this possibility. The LEAs, to be able to get their information to us to be presented to the board for this board meeting, had very short turnaround time. One of the things that some of the ADs that assessment directors that I've spoken with, the numbers that you see in this document are reflected high estimates or a total number that they have currently. The individuals I've spoken with have all indicated they intend to continue to try to pursue their students completing these requirements, but we're concerned that with their graduation ceremonies happening before the next board meeting, the challenges that presents if they didn't give us the highest possible number. So I don't expect this to be the final count for these LEAs or for some of them that I've spoken with. But it's a high number, the current number of seniors they have that haven't completed the requirement. And again, these schools have just a few weeks left, but I expect many of them are still trying to pursue their students completing that requirement.
Did you have a follow-up question, Board Member Earl? Board Member Hanson?
I appreciate that, Darren, that explanation. I understand the timing maybe led us to do this kind of a blanket approach. I am sensitive to many of the reasons that were given, but also a little bit disappointed when general anxiety and that sort of thing is cited as a reason. I don't see, for myself at least, there's much of a choice as what to do now. We have to grant these waivers to get these kids graduated just because of the process, but I'm hopeful this doesn't set any kind of a precedent for what we do in the future.
Thank you, Board Member Hanson. Vice Chair Cummins, is anyone still in the queue?
Board Member Earl?
Board Member?
Yeah, Darren, I just have an additional question. Are you saying that they did submit individual ones, or they did submit just a large estimation of what they thought might be the number of students that would not complete it? And then did we get individual submissions, meaning that they said, okay, these, 10 students from this high school and then we pulled them together just so it was simplified in our mechanism, or was, I'm just trying to understand, or did they individually submit? And anyways, how was that done? Was it we just got 600 kids from a certain, district, or did they have individual reasons and then we condensed those?
Darren?
Yes, Board Member Earl, it's a great question. I apologize for not providing a clearer answer. The LEAs, the requirement through Senate Bill 3005 is that they submit on behalf of individual students. We asked them only to give us the number associated with those individual students. So we didn't require LEAs to give us the names of each of the seniors that they were requesting a consideration of a waiver for the basic civics test. And again, part of that was really trying to expedite and simplify the process for them to submit the applications to the Utah State Board of Education.
Did you have a follow-up, Board Member Earl?
No, I think I answered my question. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else still in the queue?
Board Member
Sure.
Lear.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Nobody's in the queue.
Lear.
Oh, Board Member Lear.
Chair, yes, it's Carol. I don't really care much about this test for a lot of different reasons, but as a practical matter, this is kind of an on your honor submission. Isn't that right, Darren? We would never know how many total seniors took this test or didn't take the test, and it would be up to the LEA to either allow the student to graduate or hold the student's feet to the fire. Is that not true?
Yes, that's correct, Board Member Lear, and that's consistent with previous years, and it's also consistent with other graduation requirements, including total credit earned, core credits earned. It's the LEA's responsibility to verify that the students have met those requirements, and at their graduation ceremonies, if you attend those, you'll see they typically have the principal stand up and certify each of those students as being a graduate and receiving a diploma or earning a diploma.
Thanks.
Vice Chair Cummins, anyone else in the queue?
No hands.
Okay, general consent calendar, item number 6, basic civics test waivers is an actionable item.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve it.
Yeah, was that Board Member Belknap?
Belknap.
Okay,
I will second that, Board Member Marsh.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No hands.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on it. Motion before the board is that under the item number 6 of the general consent calendar, basic civics test waivers that be approved. We'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with Board Member Belknap,
Yes.
Board Member Bolter,
Yes.
Board Member Cannon,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cummins,
Yes.
Board Member Davis. Davis. Jump back. Board Member Earl,
Yes.
Member Gravitt,
Yes.
Member Hanson,
Yes.
Member Haynes,
Yes.
Member Lear,
Yes.
Member Marsh,
Yes.
Member Nilsson, Member Scott Nilsson, Member Newell,
Yes.
Member Thorpe,
Yes.
Member Huntsman's a yes. Back to Member Davis.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Voting was unanimous. Okay, this concludes everything in our general consent calendar. It is 10:30, and we're right on schedule here.